Hello and welcome to another episode of The Last of Us 2 so far with myself, Yannick, here for OGX UK. Today is our, I've talked about this a lot, our mashup, our Grey's Anatomy / The Last of Us 2 mashup. For those who don't know, Grey's Anatomy is a series based in Seattle, as is The Last of Us 2. We're going to compare Sloan Memorial, formerly known as Seattle Grace Hospital, which is located in obviously Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington is the most northwest state in America. That's not Alaska. Famous for the Seattle Needle, famous for wet, rainy days like the UK. Also famous for the Seahawks, and once upon a time famous for the Supersonics, as you can see by my good friend here, KD, which is not really my friend, but still. This part of the story, you are playing as Ellie, and you're trying to make your way to the hospital. I decided to call it Seattle Grace Hospital, or Grace Sloan Memorial Hospital, whichever one you want to call. It's the same place, but either way, they tried hard to play this game early on. Clocked it. Kind of had issues with the story, and you can tell why I just played it. But the story kind of loses its way. I can see what they tried to do, but anyway, here you're Ellie. You are trying to get to the hospital, and I actually enjoyed this part of the game. However, I didn't enjoy. I'm still not with the story. The story kind of lost its way, and I think my later videos are going to show exactly why I felt out of love with the story, because it just gets a bit disjointed. It's not put together well. The middle part where I am right now, it's a bit chaotic, because remember how I talked about the start of the game, as you start off with as Abby, and then you switch to Ellie for a long time, and then you go to Abby briefly, and then you switch to Ellie. All of those things here, it makes for a very disjointed game. The thing is I've talked about the approach to this game a lot, about how you have to be sneaky or you can go by blazing. And one thing I'll say is that this game isn't like other games where the NPCs who don't know, stands for non-playable characters. So in some games, they'll keep respawning until you get to a certain point. Obviously here, you have a select number of NPCs and at any given moment. Let me fix my direct once again, I always get this wrong. Yeah, you have a specific amount of NPCs on any different account now. So here I think there's about 12 in total. Don't quote me on that, but there's about 12 I think. And you've got to try to get away from the hospital. Again, there's always different approaches and encounters. You can do them in more than one way. If you realize that when you die sometimes, it tells you to re-strategize. You're going to, you're going to realize there's more ways to do things. And I told you keep dying, but I kind of approach this way. I took this guy out because I enjoyed this part. I actually enjoyed the whole sneaking up and shanking. Almost like, do you know, it reminds me of like Splinter Cell or like Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, it reminds me of Metal Gear Solid where you have to kind of try and kill people. And obviously, the AI, they haven't made the AI intelligent enough, like, to the point where like it's hard to notice actual routes on this. Again, I have not played it on survival mode, so I don't know if that's again survival mode where they notice that those things here, but on hard mode, like, they don't notice that not enough routes. This isn't Metal Gear Solid, you know what I mean? But it has that feeling of Metal Gear Solid where you're kind of taking people out covertly. I did say that there's different ways of playing this game, but I think the best way to navigate this level is by being sneaky. Now, I just went, I took the easier ones out first before I approached the harder ones. That was just my approach to it, because the easier ones are get them out of the way first and then get the ones which might cause an issue. The parts, this game, this whole section here was quite interesting, because you think to yourself, oh yeah, I'll play this and I'll need to just more answer, but it's like you keep going back on yourself. And I promise you that I don't think that the biggest issues people have with this game would be is the actual mechanics. The mechanics are really good, really good. But anyway, like this is me taking the people out, and then you're gonna get my first grades / The Last of Us 2 comparison really soon, because that does this, man. I knew what I was doing. I've been trying. This has been in the works for a long time. Is it gonna be executed? I don't know. How much am I gonna do with this? I don't know, but in my head it sounded good. I'm gonna try. But yeah, this is how I kind of like got into the building, because I realized dogs, I don't like dealing the missions with dogs. I think there's a whole section that I haven't done yet. I don't like doing missions with dogs. I've kind of skipped all of that stuff already, because you don't need tips and tricks anymore, because I think you lot have probably gone way further than me. You don't need me giving you tips and tricks. So this is just me taking people out, and I realizing there's people that can see me. Coming up next is my first comparison of the Grey's Anatomy and The Last of Us 2. You recognize this hall? I may be stabbing this op in this haul, but this haul is very, very memorable. It's a very, very memorable, memorable Grey's Anatomy scene, and it's right here with my dear friend Miranda Bailey.
You can tell me whose damn panties are on the bulletin board. This is a hospital, people.
Anyway, so back to this. There's more sneaky approaches as you get through this little encounter here. By now you've kind of sussed the jig in this kind of game. Optional way, they know you're coming, but bang. You just gotta be able to clear them up. This part here, the music. Again, I stress you lot a lot of times already. Make sure you're playing this through your headphones. If not, have your TV on loud, because the music tells you a lot. You need to listen to the audio cue. The audio cue tells you whether you're going to be in beef, whether or not. And then back to one of those, typical chase encounters when you chase people. But you're going through the house that Meredith Grey built. This is the house that she built with her bare hands. Quote unquote, the money she got from the crash and whatnot. Either way, to the house that Meredith Grey built. And there's a lot of comparisons between this and Grey's Anatomy. You're going to see. We're going through a few of the famous hallways are the elevators. How could you forget about countless elevator scenes in Grey's Anatomy? Elevators and Grey's Anatomy are like this, son. They're like this tight. They're tight. Remember like George and Alex in the elevator when Alex pushes out and then George saves the guy's life? The bloody elevators. Oh, you know you've got to love good elevators. Two women fighting. Come on, that's so Grey's, man. That is so Grey's. I'm telling you, man, these writers are Grey's fans. They were definitely Grey's Anatomy fans. But this is you beefing Nora. Nora is Abby's friend who you end up bumping into, and she's the one you find instead of Abby. She's the one you kind of got to take out. But who's not seen a hostage? Like even Grey's Anatomy has seen a hostage situation. Come on, hostages, Grey's Anatomy. Synonymous. Come on, guys. Anyway, Nora is a person who you buck into Abby. Nora is Abby's friend. You can tell this. And you'll find out later on. You'll find out how close Nora and Abby are later on, because Nora kind of helps that bit up with whether you play as Abby. And again, I don't like the fact that they've messed up so much, because it was supposed to be like a good little flashback to this to add to it, but they fucked it up, man. Like, come on, they fucked it up, because like it's not seamless enough. Like don't get it twisted. I like these kind of scenes here. I really like these kind of encounters where it's a bit of a mix and it's a bit entertaining. You got clickers, you got runners, you got all these things. I kind of like them. But then with games like this, you run the risk of repetition, and it's never the actual mechanic. Like I said, I have nothing against the mechanics in The Last of Us 2. The game flows well. Like it reacts well to your commands. I don't have many critiques over the mechanics. I just have critiques over the storyline. Storyline became really dead really fast, and not because a lot has happened, but it's the execution. It's not executed well. Like a Scott McTominay pass here. It's no execution whatsoever. It just hits haphazard. It goes everywhere. It reminds me of Rooney circa 2017 or 16. Like just spraying it all over the gaff, no direction. But yeah, this is the part where you kind of kill Nora. It's a pretty important scene, because I think like Abby was chasing Ellie was chasing Abby. She didn't find Abby, she found Nora. But I think, because I'm at the part where I'm playing as Abby. I'm quite deep in playing as Abby, and I think in my next videos I'm going to talk more about why I didn't like playing as Abby, because this was supposed to be like what they wanted you to do is decide who's good and who's evil. But because you played so long, guys, that you played the whole The Last of Us as Joel, and as Joel's with Ellie, and it comes to Last of Us 2, you start as Abby, but then Abby kills off Joel right at the start of the actual whole thing, and then you're asking yourself like, yo, what's happened? Why is Joel getting dumpy? Like, for people who are new to the whole thing, I think people who are fresh at The Last of Us in general will are less bothered by what they've seen, because to them it's probably like a decent plot twist. But people who have played The Last of Us already, who played number 1 and then they'll go to number 2, they have different memories of this game. So I think all of this is kind of superfluous to everything else, because like, why are we playing as 2 different sides when you can't even make a scene, you can't even execute well? And I think that's, if anything Naughty Dog have done wrong, that's the part they've done wrong. But anyway, this is another video by myself, Yannick, for OGX UK. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And this video is coming soon. I've left a lot of time in between videos because it's kind of hard, man. The new games, Ghost of Tsushima's out, like, so I feel like I need to play that, so I've got to bang out those games. So, you know, shit is kind of tight, man. It's kind of tight. But anyway, thanks for watching, man. And I'll leave you with the end of this scene, man. Eddie bashes Norris heading.